Hello there, guys. How's it going? Welcome to Breakfast All Day. I am Christy, and with me, as always, is the Christmas movie expert, Alonso Duralde. Our second Christmas movie of the week is called Silent Night. It is a bit of a genre mashup, which isn't always mashup all that gracefully, but Alonso will tell you about it.
Sure. So this is this is a film that begins very much like a lot of specifically British Christmas movies, which is that families getting together and it's going to be awkward and we're all meeting at this lovely house in the country that's maybe a little bit on the ramshackle side, but dang it, we're going to have Christmas dinner together and pull those crackers and it's going to be amazing. But as the cast begins to assemble, we start getting little hints along the way that something is wrong. One woman talks about spending her daughter's college fund on a new dress, and two of the men get sent down to break into the store down the road to get some sticky toffee puddings. And you come to find out that the world is about to end, or at least basically humanity is about to end because of a poisonous gas tornado that is making its way through the world. And so the government has allotted everyone a poison pill that they're supposed to take at midnight to gracefully exit. And so everyone is getting together to have one last Christmas. But of course, even with pending doom, nothing goes that easily. I have mixed feelings about this. What did you think?
I also have mixed feelings. It feels like a sort of an awkward shift from the Richard Curtis style British rom-com, complete with Keira Knightley as one of your stars, into darker territory when it's like the hustle and bustle and cheer and dread of Christmas. In with the familiar beats of that, but with an undercurrent that something is a bit off. That's when this film works the best to me, when it has a bit of a subtle balance there. Roman Griffin Davis, who is the very impressive young kid from Jojo Rabbit, who is the director's son. Camille Griffin, this is her feature filmmaking debut. Roman Griffin Davis and also the twins in this film are all her kids, with longtime cinematographer Ben Davis. So when it is, and you can feel like the kind of the warmth of this probably really was a family and friends affair. Like Matthew Vaughn is one of the producers. Ben Davis was a DP on a lot of Matthew Vaughn films, including Layer Cake. And so it just sort of feels like, yeah, that's all. We all got together, went to a house and made a movie. This is actually a pre-COVID movie, by the way. This was in production before. It feels like a movie that was made because you could make this kind of movie during COVID.
Exactly. Yeah. One location.
Yeah. And like just people who are already friends and like, the entire family is here. When it is light and yet it upend your expectations of that lightness here and there, it works best. Like they open presents and you see that the gifts are wrapped very tidily in newspaper with headlines about, the impending doom of the planet, little things like that. And then when like halfway, it takes like a serious turn and becomes this like apocalyptic drama. And that shift feels very awkward to me. And there's it turns melodramatic. There's very heavy music to overwhelm what's already happening here. Yeah. And that shift does not work for me.
I agree with you. The shift is a problem. Also a problem is the movie can't quite make up its mind about what the rules are here, basically. Yeah. In other words, I think like there is a reading of this film, and I'm not saying this was intentional on the part of the filmmakers, but there is a reading of this film that like anti-vaxxers could embrace.
Oh,
because they're basically,
do you take the pill or not? Right.
Yeah. And like, do you believe what science is telling you? Do you believe what the media is telling you? Like, and it sort of wobbles back and forth in terms of how we're supposed to take the actual mechanics of the plot here that is sort of driving everything. And so that bothered me because you're opening yourself up to a lot of interpretations and a lot of like, what does this movie even mean if A or B or C, and so that it felt to me like it didn't know, like the movie didn't necessarily know how to juggle all these different ideas that it was throwing at the wall. So that is where it kind of loses it for me. But as far as the like you said, like emulating the kind of Christmas coziness and the people showing up with their own separate agendas and long buried grudges and whatever else, and how the ensemble comedy part is a lot of fun and they have a real feel for the material, but I think it gets away from them.
Yeah, among the ensemble cast, Matthew Goode plays Keira Knightley's husband. Lily Rose Depp is one of the characters' girlfriends. Lucy Punch and Kirby Howell Batiste are a lesbian couple. And
Annabelle Wallace.
Yeah, Emma Wallace is very good as Keira Knightley's sister, who is just like vapid and materialistic and obnoxious. Yeah, the scene where they're all sitting around the couches and like reliving old memories and rehashing old regrets and all that, like that feels familiar, but like there's some life to that. And yet, once you get down to who they really are, like there's so little to these characters that you begin to realize, oh, I don't care if they live or die, right? Or whether they will choose to live or die, right? So like Roman Griffin Davis is really good because he's mature beyond his years, but not like in an obnoxiously precocious kid actor way. He emerges as the voice of reason in this. But you're right. The philosophical part of this is problematic. I agree. I just viewed it as like an allegory about climate change. That, you know,
and it could have been, but I think it keeps sort of hedging its bets and prompting other alternate reads where I would literally love to just sit down with the writer director and be like, what does this mean?
Right.
And then what does this mean? And how do you, but then we get to the ending and what does that mean? You know, so that bothered me.
I reviewed it for RogerEbert.com and I wrote down in my notes, like, what's she trying to say? Like, is it meant to just be a genre mashup? And if so, like, it's a fine effort, but those are tricky to do. Like when you look at what Edgar Wright does, like with his Cornetto trilogy, like it's really tough. It's tough to do that, to be one kind of movie and then morph into another. And then it kind of goes, even in the darker part, it still tries to be light. Like there's dancing around the Christmas tree to Irene Cara's fame, or a cover of Irene Cara's fame.
I mean, Christmas horror is a tricky thing to pull off, but a lot of films have, and it's, you know, I think the sort of purity of the Christmas season makes an interesting drop for, like, you know, my joke is always, you know, a pure a bank of snow is the perfect place to show a spray of blood. And it does some of that well, but I think like one more pass on the writing process would have maybe made a huge difference here. So
I hate the ending. I hate the last shot. It's really problematic and it raises so many more questions.
Agreed.
My number's a 4.5.
I said 5.5. But yeah, it's, you know, there are things to like in it. And if you happen to be an AMC Plus subscriber, that is where it is currently streaming. So maybe give it a look. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And do visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. A lot of fun stuff going on over there. First of all, videos like this with no commercial interruption. Also, our TV recaps, which are exclusive to Patreon. We're currently talking about Hawkeye. We're talking about The Great. And we have monthly films that only our subscribers get to pick what we watch and then watch that review. So lots of things going on. Become a subscriber today. Patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.